If by any chance you watched Goodfellas, did you know that the robbery that occurred was a real life heist? Here's the story behind it. The Lufthansa heist occurred on December 11th, 1978, at New York City's John F. Kennedy International Airport. Almost $6 million was stolen in jewelry and cash, mostly being cash, making it the greatest cash theft in American territory at the time. James Burke, a member of the New York LaChusse crime family, was rumored to be the mastermind of the robbery, but he was never officially charged. Burke is also accused of murdering or ordering the murders of many co-conspirators in order to avoid being implicated in the crime and to keep a portion of money for himself. Louis Werner, an airport worker involved in the planning, was the sole person convicted in the Lufthansa robbery. A black Ford van containing the 6 members of the crew pulled up to Lufthansa freight terminal at Kennedy Airport around 3 a.m. Some of the crew climbed up the stairs of the East Tower and entered wearing ski masks and gloves after cutting the padlock at the gate with a set of bolt cutters. The late model Buick was parked in the terminal's lot with its light turned off. John Murray, a senior cargo agent, was the first hostage abducted in the port. He was led into the lunchroom where 5 other Lufthansa employees had been eating since 3 a.m. and told to lie flat on the floor with his eyes closed. Murray was questioned if there were any other people in the warehouse. Rudy Eric, the night shift manager, and Kerry Wallen, a cargo transfer agent, were present, he said. Murray was compelled to entice Eric to come upstairs, where he joined the other detained employees. As he drove by the terminal, Wallen observed 2 unmasked guys sitting in a black van parked near the loading ramp. Wallen pulled over and began walking toward the men. One of the men monitored for him to get into the van. Wallen tried to flee and yelled for help, but was pistol whipped and thrown into the van. He was led into the premises and joined the other hostages in the lunchroom. Meanwhile, inside the warehouse, employee Rolf Redman heard a noise coming from the loading ramp and went to check it out. He was apprehended and taken to the lunchroom with Wallen. At gunpoint, some of the criminals led Eric to the double-door vault. They took 72 15-pound cartons of untraceable cash from the vault and loaded them into the van. The van arrived at the front of the building at 4:21 a.m., followed by the collision automobile. As the others piled into the Buick, 2 gunmen hopped into the van. Employees were instructed not to contact Port Authority police until 4:30 a.m., when the first emergency call was logged. The burglars traveled to Carnegie, Brooklyn to meet Burke at an auto repair shop, where the money boxes were removed from the van and placed into the trunks of 2 cars. Edwards was told to take the van to New Jersey, where it, along with any potential evidence inside, would be destroyed, at John Gardy's garbage yard. Instead, he placed the black Ford van in front of a fire hydrant at his girlfriend's place, where it was discovered by police 2 days later. The license plates were stolen, and the vehicle was confiscated by police. They quickly discovered Edwards' fingerprints and linked him to the crime. Capo LaChusse Paul Vero then directed DeSimone to murder Edwards. DeSimone and Sepe paid Edwards a visit and shot him 5 times in the head once they discovered where he was hiding. Within 3 days of the robbery, the FBI identified the Burke crew as the likely offenders, owing partly to the recovery of the van and Edwards' pre-existing links with the gang at Robert's Lounge. Agents from FBI set up intense surveillance, following the crew in helicopters and tapping the vehicles, as well as the phones at Robert's Lounge and even payphones closest to the club. Despite background noise, the FBI was able to record Sepe telling an unidentified man about a brown case and a bag from Lufthansa, and his girlfriend saying, as I quote, "I want to see. Look at where the money's at. Dig a hole in the cellar. Rail on." However, this was insufficient to link the crew to the heist, and no search warrants were filed. Burke, according to Hill, became nervous after realizing how much attention Edwards' failure had gotten, and vowed to kill anyone who may expose him in the crime. With the assassination of a majority of the robbery's associates and coordinators, there was little evidence and few witnesses linking Burke or his crew to the crime. However, authorities eventually gathered enough evidence to charge Werner with assisting in the planning of the crime. Werner was the sole individual convicted of the crime in 1979, and he received a 15-year prison sentence. Donald Frankels, a LaChusse family associate, subsequently expressed disappointment that despite being a close friend of Burke's and a regular patron of Robert's Lounge, he was not implicated in the theft. On January 23rd, Vincent Sorrell, a capo of the Bonanno crime family, was arrested in connection with an indictment accusing him of involvement in the Lufthansa robbery. His cousin, the Sapare Valentini, testified against him. The case against Assar was built around an informant who Assaro's attorney described as one of the worst witnesses I've ever seen. A jury in Brooklyn acquitted Assar of all counts related to the theft on November 12, 2015. The stolen cash and jewels were never found. That would be all we have for this robbery short. For more episodes, check out our social media, and YouTube videos drop every Thursday. But for now, this is where we depart. Till next time.